What if the very reason you feel lost is because you've been operating without all of you? Not just distracted, not just overwhelmed, but disconnected from pieces of your soul that were always meant to be with you. Pieces that aren't gone, just forgotten. We live in a world that teaches us how to think, how to work, how to follow, but not how to feel, not how to align, not how to wake up. And without that inner alignment, something always feels off. No matter how much success you chase or how much healing you try to do, you're still orbiting around something you can't name. That something is you, but not just the version of you sitting in this moment. It's the full spectrum, deeply connected, multi-dimensional being you were born to be. And that version of you, it can't activate until the 4 missing pieces of your soul are brought back into harmony. That's the part no one tells you. You don't need to become someone new. You need to reconnect with the original version of you. The soul self that was split across time, across trauma, across lifetimes of forgetting who you really are. This isn't spiritual fluff. This is the science of energy, the reality of consciousness, and the ancient wisdom that's been buried beneath systems designed to keep you numb. Every culture that came before us knew this. The Mayans, the Egyptians, the yogis, the mystics. They didn't worship the sun or the elements for no reason. They understood. The human soul isn't just light and love. It's layered, coded, and wired to follow a blueprint, one built on 4 pillars. And when even one of those 4 is out of alignment, your whole life echoes with imbalance. You overthink. You feel stuck. You repeat patterns. You stay tired no matter how much sleep you get, because your soul is trying to run on a broken system. Just like a car with missing wheels, it moves, but painfully. It functions, but without grace. And you start believing that's normal, that anxiety is normal, that disconnection is just adulthood. But it's not. It's evidence that your soul's 4 core frequencies, your missing pieces, are offline. Think of it like this. Your soul isn't one thing. It's not a glowing cloud that floats above your body. It's a complex living system, a multi-level field of energy, intelligence, memory, intention, and power. And this system runs on 4 primary currents, the same ones ancient systems called your 4 bodies: the physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. These aren't poetic metaphors. They're real energetic systems that affect your behavior, your health, your thoughts, and your ability to connect with something higher. And here's the truth that hits hardest. Most people are only operating with 1 or 2 of these bodies active. They're thinking all the time, but never feeling, or feeling everything, but can't organize a single thought. We're chasing spiritual highs, but ignoring their physical health. And that fragmentation, it makes everything in life harder. Manifestation, healing, relationships, even basic happiness. Because the soul can't fully activate until all of its 4 bodies are back in sync. Not perfectly, not permanently, but aligned enough for energy to flow like it was designed to. So let's talk about them. Because these aren't just spiritual concepts. Each of these 4 pieces of your soul has a science to it, a system, a purpose. And when you understand them, you stop floating through life hoping to feel better. You start moving through life with power. Not force, not hustle, not fake positivity, but real, grounded, magnetic power. Let's start with the physical body, the part of your soul that feels the most you. Your hands, your face, your heartbeat, your voice. But this isn't just about flesh and bones. The physical body is your soul's anchor in this dimension. It's your soul in density, your soul in form. When you ignore it, when you push it past its limits, when you use it like a machine, you disconnect from your foundation. Your body isn't just a vehicle, it's a communicator, a sensor, an energetic receiver. Your symptoms, the headaches, the fatigue, the tight shoulders, aren't just random. They're messages, clues from your system saying one of the other pieces is offline. Because when your emotions are suppressed, the body speaks. When your mind is overactive, the body tenses. When your spirit is ignored, the body aches. So healing the body isn't just about diet or movement. It's about re-listening to the part of your soul that you live inside every day. Then comes the emotional body, the water of your soul. This is the most neglected piece in our culture. We were taught to suppress emotions, control them, manage them. But emotions were never meant to be managed. They were meant to be read, felt, expressed. Emotions are messages, not weaknesses, not interruptions, but direct data from your inner world. And when you suppress them, you don't just block the feelings, you block energy. You shut down your power to manifest, to intuit, to connect. And the thing about the emotional body is, it remembers everything, even what your mind has forgotten. That childhood fear, that heartbreak you never fully processed, that shame you never knew how to name. It's all still vibrating in your emotional field, and until you release it, your energy stays trapped in loops, replaying, resurfacing, repeating. That's why people say, "I thought I healed this already," because you did, mentally, but your emotional body still holds the charge. Healing it isn't about getting over it, it's about letting it move. Because once that water flows again, once the tears fall, once the heart unclenches, your intuition lights up, your nervous system calms, your energy becomes magnetic again. That's the missing piece most people never touch. Now the mental body, this is the architect, the logic, the language, the ideas. It's the part of your soul that forms meaning, structure, belief. But it's also the part that gets hijacked first, the one that absorbs programming from school, religion, media, trauma. It builds walls where there should be doors, and until you reprogram it, it runs your life like a broken script. You'll believe you're not worthy. You'll chase things that drain you. You'll sabotage your own growth, not because you're weak, but because your mental body is looping on a belief that doesn't belong to you. The good news? The mental body is also the most reprogrammable. Through awareness, through repetition, through conscious focus. Thoughts aren't just passing clouds, they're blueprints. They shape the structure of your emotional and physical experience. When aligned with your heart and spirit, your mind becomes a bridge to miracles. But when it's isolated, it becomes a prison. So healing the mental body is about returning to sovereignty, choosing your own beliefs, directing your own focus, reclaiming the power to tell your own story. And finally, the spiritual body, the most mysterious yet most essential piece. This isn't about religion or dogma. It's about connection, frequency, presence. Your spiritual body is the part of you that knows, not with logic, but with truth. It's the part that feels guidance, synchronicity, intuition. It's the bridge between you and the quantum field. And when it's offline, everything feels heavy, like you're walking through life with no direction. You can achieve, succeed, build an empire, and still feel empty. Because the part of you that longs to be connected to something bigger is silent. The spiritual body doesn't scream, it whispers. Through breath, through symbols, through that still, quiet voice that says, "Go this way," or "Not yet," or "You're not alone." Reconnecting it isn't about adding something, it's about removing the noise, the distractions, the fear, the mental clutter, because your spiritual body already knows the way, you just forgot how to listen. So here you are, a soul with 4 powerful bodies, 4 sacred systems, 4 missing pieces that have been calling out to you. And the moment you bring them back into alignment, the moment you stop living from just one and start living from all 4, something shifts. Life stops feeling like survival and starts feeling like flow, like presence, like power. This is the awakening no one teaches, the real one. The one that doesn't happen through a single meditation or a viral quote, but through the quiet, consistent return to yourself. This is not about becoming someone new. This is about remembering something ancient, something already inside you. Your soul has always been whole. It just needs you to come home to it, one piece at a time.
The reason most people never awaken is because they're trying to fix symptoms instead of systems. They chase self-help hacks, crystals, workshops, temporary motivation, all trying to feel whole, when in reality, the soul doesn't need fixing, it needs realignment. Think about how your phone needs a signal to function. It can have all the best apps and features in the world, but if it's not connected to the network, it's just a shiny piece of glass. That's how most people are living, full of potential, but disconnected from the source signal, the 4 parts of the soul that give that potential real power. And one of the biggest reasons for this disconnection is that we've forgotten how energy actually works, not the mystical kind, the real kind, the physics of vibration, the science of frequency, the geometry of creation. Everything in this universe, from your body to your thoughts to time itself, follows certain laws, not man-made laws, but energetic ones, universal ones. And one of the most overlooked laws is the law of coherence. When all parts of a system vibrate in harmony, energy flows freely. Reality responds, synchronicity shows up. But when parts are out of sync, like the 4 bodies of your soul, chaos is created, blockages form, patterns repeat, health breaks down, clarity disappears, and life starts to feel like a loop. Your soul wasn't designed to be fragmented. It was designed to function like a song, with each body playing its note in perfect rhythm. And that rhythm? It's encoded in your DNA. This is where ancient wisdom meets modern science. Inside every cell of your body is a double helix, your genetic blueprint. But it's not just physical data, it's a vibrational code, made of 4 base pairs: adenine, thymine, cytosine, and guanine, the building blocks of life. And what's wild is that these 4 pairs don't just map your body, they mirror the exact 4 bodies of your soul: physical, emotional, mental, spiritual. It's not symbolic, it's literal. Adenine connects to your physical structure, the bones, cells, and tissues. Thymine regulates your emotional processing, including how you respond to trauma. Cytosine governs thought patterns, focus, and neural activity. And guanine, still one of the most mysterious molecules in biology, acts like a spiritual antenna, transmitting signals beyond the known electromagnetic spectrum. So when your DNA is in balance, your soul is in sync. And when it's not, you feel it. Not just as illness, but as disconnection, as, why do I feel off and I can't explain it? Because your code is trying to activate, but the signal is scrambled. This is why ancient spiritual systems talked about sound, breath, intention, and visualization. They weren't rituals, they were technologies, ways to reprogram the human operating system. Think about how you feel after being around a certain person. Some people drain you, while others light you up. That's not emotional woo, that's frequency resonance. And your DNA is listening. It's not static, it's not locked. It responds to environment, belief, intention, sound, light, and thought. Every thought you think sends out a frequency. Every emotion you feel creates a magnetic field. This isn't metaphor, it's physics. The HeartMath Institute showed that the human heart emits an electromagnetic field that can influence people up to 8 feet away. Your nervous system records every experience and stores it as vibrational memory. So if you're constantly anxious, disconnected, or sad, it's not your fault, but it is your signal. Your body is telling you it's time to realign. And that doesn't happen through thinking alone. It happens when you restore connection to all 4 pieces of your soul's system, because only then can you operate from your true design. And here's something else most people don't realize. Your body's energy system was never meant to run on 7 chakras alone. The chakra system we talk about today is just one lens. What your soul uses to manifest reality runs on 4 primary energy centers, one for each body. When they're offline, you get blocked. When they're aligned, you become magnetic. The root center governs physical manifestation, your safety, security, and ability to make things real. When it's online, you feel grounded. When it's blocked, you feel unsafe or stuck in survival mode. The heart center governs emotional manifestation, how you feel, how you connect, and how you process love or fear. When it's blocked, you feel numb, overreactive, or emotionally drained. The third eye governs mental manifestation, clarity, focus, intuition, and vision. If you can't visualize your future, or if your thoughts are chaotic, this center needs healing. And finally, the crown or spiritual center, the energy of surrender, flow, guidance, divine timing. When it's blocked, you feel like nothing is working no matter how hard you try. These 4 centers aren't just woo concepts. They're energetic circuits that allow the soul to express itself through the body. And once they're cleared, everything changes. Not because you're suddenly spiritual, but because you're finally synced. Still, even with all this knowledge, most people stay stuck. Not because they're lazy, but because they're programmed. Your nervous system is wired by your past. Your brain learns safety by repetition, even if that repetition is painful. So even if your soul is screaming to wake up, your system pulls you back into survival, into loops, into what's familiar. That's why healing requires more than awareness. It requires rewiring. You have to teach your body that peace is safe, that ease isn't lazy, that alignment isn't boring, it's powerful. And the way to do that isn't through force, it's through regulation, stillness, breath, intention. You have to move slower to reconnect. You have to allow space for integration. That's where the soul speaks, not in noise, but in silence. The nervous system calms, the heart opens, the mind slows down, and the spirit finally has room to rise. Most people don't know how powerful they are because they've never felt themselves fully online, fully present, fully embodied. They've had moments in nature, in meditation, during heartbreak, in music, when they felt something click, that sense of, this is me, but it fades. Not because it wasn't real, but because they didn't know how to sustain it. That sustained state, that's what soul connection feels like. And it's not something you chase, it's something you return to again and again until it becomes your baseline, your normal, your home frequency. When all 4 parts of you are aligned, physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual, you move differently, you speak differently. You stop chasing and you start attracting. You stop reacting and you start creating. You stop breaking down and you start breaking through. Because you're no longer just a person trying to survive. You're a soul, awake in a body, building a life that reflects your true design. And yes, the world will still challenge you. People will still misunderstand you. Old patterns will still try to pull you back. But when your 4 bodies are aligned, you're not as reactive. You don't take everything personally. You don't collapse every time things get hard, because you're operating from center, from integration, from alignment. That's where your power is. Not in how spiritual you act, but in how connected you are to your body, to your breath, to your truth, to your soul. When people talk about manifestation, they think it's just about thinking positive, but the truth is, your energy does the attracting, not your words. If your body is stressed, if your emotions are blocked, if your mind is scattered, if your spirit is offline, no amount of affirmations will work, because the signal is scrambled. But when you realign, reality responds, quickly, clearly, powerfully. That's when things click. That's when synchronicities flood in. That's when the job shows up, the love arrives, the clarity hits, not by chance, but by alignment. This is the soul's operating system. And it's not mystical, it's mechanical. Your thoughts are electric, your feelings are magnetic, your body is an antenna, your spirit is the transmitter. When they're aligned, you become a walking manifestation machine. Not by forcing, not by grinding, but by simply being who you really are. Fully connected, fully embodied, fully awake. But it starts with awareness, then honesty, then practice. You don't have to heal everything overnight. You just have to stop ignoring the pieces of you that are asking to come home. Every trigger, every breakdown, every exhaustion, every dream, they're all messengers, invitations to return to alignment. The system isn't broken, it's just waiting for you to tune back in, to listen, to reconnect, to remember.
The final piece isn't about learning more. It's about becoming it. It's about integration, embodiment, actually living the truth you've remembered. Because awakening is not a moment, it's a movement within your being. And the deepest part of that movement is knowing how to carry your energy through the noise of the world. Because you will walk back into systems that want you asleep, into families that don't understand your path, into conversations that feel shallow, into work that drains your soul. And in those moments, you'll be tempted to forget, to shrink, to doubt your own awakening. But here's the truth. Once your four bodies have realigned, they become your armor, not to shield you from the world, but to stabilize you in it. Your physical body becomes a safe home. Your emotional body becomes a powerful compass. Your mental body becomes a laser-focused lens. And your spiritual body becomes the Wi-Fi to the divine. You start walking like someone who remembers. You start speaking like someone who knows. You start creating like someone who's done pretending. And that's when everything around you begins to shift. Not because you tried to change others, but because your presence became louder than your words. The world doesn't need more noise. It needs more resonance. More people who are energetically aligned, grounded, and awake. You don't need to convince anyone of what you know. You just need to live it, because your energy teaches louder than your voice ever could. When you embody the four parts of your soul, you become the transmission. You become the frequency, the healing presence, the walking permission slip for others to remember themselves. But to protect that, you need boundaries, not walls, but energetic clarity. You need to know what's yours and what's not. Because once you start to open up, your sensitivity increases. You'll feel everything more deeply. The room, the people, the energy, the noise. And that's not a weakness, it's a superpower. But only if you learn to navigate it. So protect your nervous system. Unplug from what drains you. Don't consume content that makes your heart heavy. Don't give your time to people who only take. Don't explain your awakening to people who aren't ready to hear it. This path doesn't require external validation. It requires internal alignment. You are not crazy. You are clear. And clarity feels radical when the world is still addicted to confusion. You don't need to be perfect to be powerful. You just need to be present with yourself, with your breath, with your soul. And as you live from this space, your external world will mirror your internal one. That's the real law of attraction. Not forcing, not scripting, not begging the universe, but aligning your four pieces so deeply that life has no choice but to match your vibration. You'll notice people falling away. You'll notice opportunities appearing with less effort. You'll notice deeper rest, sharper intuition, and a weird sense of peace even when nothing is perfect. That's alignment. That's you becoming the system, not fighting it. And that's when a deeper awareness comes online, that none of this was ever outside you,
not the answers, not the guidance, not the missing pieces. They were never gone, just dormant, waiting for your signal, waiting for you to come home. And now you're here. You're no longer chasing the light. You are the light. You're no longer begging life to respond. You're commanding it. From stillness, from sovereignty, from soul. This is the moment your old story ends, not with fanfare, but with silence, with breath, with the soft knowing that everything that's real cannot be lost, because it was never separate from you to begin with. You were always whole, always powerful, always connected. Now you remember, and from here, you don't go back. You don't need to, because you finally understand you can't awaken until you reconnect your soul's 4 missing pieces. And now that you have, life is no longer happening to you, it's happening from you. That's the shift. That's the secret. That's the return. Welcome home.